the year of Superman. Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast, Batman Day 2025 special. I am Tyler, and with me is
Solomon Patrick.
Microphone's over there, bro.
Oh, Solomon Patrick.
I also got Mr. James Man of Steel Red. Where's the milk, Cole? I don't know. It just sounded funny.
Oh, you didn't use the other intro, the one we workshopped
No,
a
I'm not.
bit on
No.
Facebook.
No. I gotta keep this. I gotta keep this positive.
Hide your mothers, hide your wives, hide your 18-year-old daughters.
And then we got Bryan Peters
Danger's my middle name.
from Gravely Amusing, our bat pal and comic aficionado.
Yeah, I like to think myself, Brainiac. I mean, when you need to know something about comics, you talk to me.
So
The man who knows all.
So happy Batman Day, fellas. This has become a
Happy Batman Day.
annual thing we celebrate. Solomon and I are donning our Batman Day gifts that was left by Batman Claus. We both have our new Batman Day t-shirts. Mine is BVS. His is Batman Forever.
I like it.
The theme was everyone got their favorite Batman movie logo shirt, and Solomon took mine. So I had to find a different one, and I tried to go with my Batman and Superman theme for the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you went with the at least the best Batman,
Yeah. Jania got the Batman, and it's all like the logo, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the wordage logo, and then Sayla got Batman and Robin. So
cool. She got the
everybody got
in there too.
Everybody got what they did from, and there's other surprises that have not been revealed yet as of this recording on this glorious Batman Day. So when I get to the shop later, I'm gonna have to buy that Batman issue 1 everyone's talking about. So
I don't like surprises.
Swear to me.
Batman is the surprise.
Also, happy 30th anniversary to Batman Forever and 20th anniversary to Batman Begins, as we will be doing a live watch of one of those films later on today. So to honor that, this has been the year of Superman, and I had this idea for doing this kind of it's not a battle, it's more of like a discussion of characters. But as we had done before, James and I had done an episode. It was called the DC Comics is All About Family, because we talked about how big the Super family had gotten, and how the Bat family continues to grow. How there's now the Flash family that's keep growing. The Arrow family. There's always been the Shazam family. It's like every hero has these like heroes under them. So today we are going to discuss in a battle.
You know what hero doesn't have a family? You know what hero doesn't have a family?
What?
Punisher.
That's Marvel. Don't talk about Marvel here.
That's kind of dark, but yeah.
He only has
the guy from Gravely Amusing.
Yep.
He only has the family he makes along the way, because technically Bruce Wayne only has a cousin. But we'll talk about that later. So we have the Bat family versus the Super family. And what I've done is I've taken characters that are very similar in their history, their style, their use, and I pulled a lot from what's currently going on in comics. And there's a few probably I left out, like Azrael's one, because that really hasn't been part of anything Batman related for a while.
I don't know. A lot of people like Azrael. I mean, I kind of like. I like the idea, but I never liked him as part of the Bat family. and still to this day, as a huge Batman fan, I still don't like the decision to let John Paul Valley take the Batmantle over
I agree.
him asking Dick Grayson. It's just it didn't even it made no sense.
It was the
But that's
90s,
a whole
bro.
other story. That's a whole other story.
It's a weird time. So let's get to it, fella. You ready?
Yes,
First
sir.
up, we're just going to go ahead and knock this out of the park. Batman versus Superman. And what we've done is we have some questions here that kind of go along with each slide is who's a better character? How's their history impacted them? What is their role in the family? As in, like, are they an aunt, a brother, cousin? Like, what do you think their role is, etc.? Are they a leader? How important are they to the family? Or family, would you delete this character? And would they fight? So we'll let James just kind of give his discussion here. We'll go James, Brian, Solomon, me.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's Superman. Superman's the better character. Without question, it's the better character. The character that inspires you. The character whose morals and beyond super abilities, his fight for social justice is attainable.
Mhm.
So, I mean, of course, he's the leader of the super family. I mean, you can't get rid of Superman. He's the OG. He's the OG. He's the best character. He's the best superhero. Yes, he is, Brian. No matter how much you shake your head, you can spin it around 360 degrees, and it still won't change that he's the better superhero.
Oh crap! Brian's spitting green stuff. And who's not watching this on YouTube? Brian's spitting green stuff.
I mean, would they fight? They have fought for
Yeah.
for a multitude of reasons, but
I feel like these questions are the
I
worst.
think more
right
of a
here with
modern
these two.
day, they would not fight anymore. Kind of, you know what I mean? Unless they
Yeah,
were
thank you, Mark Wade.
completely, unless they're completely like brainwashed to each other. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's about that.
All right, we'll let Brian go now.
Okay. So I would just like to say that I think that Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all time.
But you don't get
Yes.
Spider-Man without combining Superman and Jimmy Olsen. And once again, this is a DC podcast.
It is, but I'm just saying who I think is the best superhero. So who's a better character, Batman or Superman? That's a tougher question nowadays, as I'm an older guy. So I think Batman is more in tune to who I am as a person, but I wish I was more like Superman and being more hopeful. But if it comes down to mainly who would I choose to read more, or what movie would I rather see? What character interests me more? It would have to be Batman. So I'm gonna choose Batman as a better character because I like detective stuff better. But Superman for the hope, he's great. How's their history impact them? You mean like their origin or like through comics?
Well,
like
I
the
think-
history of their stories.
Yeah, but I think these questions are a little arbitrary. But they have to be on there anyways for the discussion. I think it's going to be more as we get through some of the other characters. That's really going to be like their role in comics, what's happened to them. But I think for these two, we don't have to answer that because everyone kind of has a basic idea.
Okay,
I mean, they've both saved the universe, the multiverses from crises. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're
if you were to put this question like who has the better overall story, like how their comic history has impacted them, like the overall story, I will have to go with Batman. I think Batman has a better story. their role in the family, I consider those both Papa Bear. They're the father of the family. They're the patriarch, if you will.
Yep.
Aunt, cousin, brother, leader. Okay, I already answered that. They're the leader. They're the leader of the team. Their father. How important are they? You wouldn't have a family if they weren't there.
That's what I'm saying. Like the questions are just kind of like they're the questions, but for these two, it's kind of like, yeah.
Would I delete this character? I would not delete any of these characters. These two are both sides of the same coin. They are so essential to everything. Mark Waid and Jeff Loeb, they know how to write these characters, to have them be friends. I wouldn't have it. These are the best comic book characters right here together as a team. Would they fight? I don't like when they fight, man. They fought so many times, but I don't like it. Like I need these guys working together, so I don't really want to see them fight again for the rest of my life. I really don't. I'm so tired of it. And that's all I gotta say about that.
All right, Solomon, you're up.
Okay, so this is a very tough fight. The better character, I'm gonna go Superman, just because he's the meaning of hope. He is hope himself, and like just him is hope. Their history has been very, very good with each other. Sometimes they have the rough ends, sometimes they have the good ends. But I like the good ends better than the rough ends. Their role in the family is definitely leader, because like Bryan said, you wouldn't have them. You wouldn't have any of these family members without them. They are very important to the families. Like again, I would never, ever, ever delete these characters. By the way, because they're good characters.
Darn toot.
All right, so my quick thing is,
And they won't fight.
I think they're both even. It's a Hegel's dialectic of who is better. I think they are the patriarchy. They are the foundation that everything is built from. And
Everything.
I would not.
Just their families.
I hate when they fight too. And I think, like James was saying, like the way Mark Waid has written them in his stories and the way they are now, I don't see that happening. I mean, it has to be one of those like mind control type things. But I don't like that. I've always said, like,
or
Superman,
like
Batman
forcibly fighting like a DC KO coming up.
Like seeing Superman and Batman battle is like me having to watch my brother and my wife fight each other. Like, no, don't do that. And yeah, they're not getting deleted. That'll come later as we get into some of these other characters. But here we go with now more of the craziness and discussions as we move on. And these slides are really in random order. I didn't want to put like all the big hitters up front, so I try to space things out.
No, I think it's spaced really well.
So here we go. Spoiler.
It's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting.
Stephanie Brown versus Starlight / Nat / I could have put Steel, or I think they called her Steely at 1.2. So we're going to start with Bryan. And which one of these characters do you think is better in all that?
I haven't read Starlight or Nat in comics at all. I'm only familiar with her through the Superman and Lois show. That's my only familiarity. I didn't think she was a bad character. Like I liked. I mean, I don't know how much of Superman Lois is like comic accurate with her character, because I'm not familiar with her character in the comics.
Somewhat.
So
hit and miss,
So I apologize. In my DC reading, my chronological from the beginning, I started in 2018. I'm now in the new 52, so I should be getting introduced to her just somewhat right now. But I'm not familiar with her too much, so I can only really comment on spoiler Stephanie Brown. So I think in terms of a character, this is where it's really tricky because I think Stephanie Brown's a better character if she would have died. And that's why I said this is interesting. So for those listeners that don't know much about Stephanie Brown, Stephanie Brown was somewhat introduced a little bit before in Batman comics in a story called War Games. And in that story, Tim Drake, in a story with his father, Tim Drake kind of stops being Robin for a while, and Batman and Stephanie Brown, her father's a criminal. He's the puzzler, I believe.
It's the puzzler.
And she wants to prove herself, and she becomes Batman's new Robin in place of it. And the whole story goes on, and what Stephanie does is she goes into the Bat computer and she finds like an end game scenario to end all crime in Gotham. And what is contingent on that to work is Batman has to show up to a meeting as his alias Matches Malone and basically take over all crime under Matches Malone. And Batman doesn't know of that this has been activated, so he doesn't show for the meeting. All hell breaks loose. Black Mask ends up taking over all Gotham's crime. Blah, blah, blah. Stephanie as Robin, she ends up getting brutally murdered. And she gets brutally beaten. And Leslie Tompkins, one of my favorite Batman characters, who's kind of like the doctor of Batman, if you will, she lets Stephanie die. She lets this child die and succumb to her injuries to teach Bruce a lesson about endangering children and putting children in his fight, and teaching Bruce the consequences of his actions of doing that. I thought that was so crazy. I thought that was such a good lesson for Bruce to learn. It made him question whether he made good choices having a Robin in the past. And like it was a big risk of a story, and I really liked it. And had she stayed dead, I think that her character would have a huger impact. But Leslie ended up faking the kid's death and hid her away. She didn't really kill her because I guess they didn't want to ruin the Leslie character, even though I think it would have been very interesting. So I know I'm rambling and teaching you comic facts, so whatever. But I think Spoiler is the more interesting character had she died. But because they're both alive, probably Nat's more interesting, because Stephanie Brown is not really that great of a character unless she stays dead. Their role in the family, I don't know, like kind of your buddy's. Well, Nat's kind of like, that's your buddy's kid. That's like your niece that you get gifts for. The one friend that's like deeply respects you and loves you. Starlight would be like my Sayla, if you will. And Spoiler is just that kid that's just like, you kind of like, hey, do your parents suck, come over for Thanksgiving. It's kind of interesting. How important are they to the family? I would say Nat's more important than Spoiler, because Nat has that technology know-how, just like her dad. So she brings more to the table. Would I delete a character? I would delete Spoiler and not have had her live, because she caused all this tension with Tim too, that wasn't really needed. And will these two fight? Maybe, but Nat would totally destroy her. And that's all I have to say about that.
All
And
right.
there's your comic facts of the day.
Slim Jimmy Cole.
I mean, so you know, a lot of Nat Steele. She's incredibly smart. So Brian said he didn't know a whole lot about her. I mean, she's been alongside Steele in the 2000s primarily, late 90s, 2000s. I'm not sure of her creation, her inception into comics, but
Oh, wait a second. She was there in Infinite Crisis when Luthor gave Steel the steel skin. That's right. Nat was there.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
in Public Enemies. She's
That's right.
in.
That's right. You're right.
She's
You're
back
right.
in Y2K.
Mhm.
So,
My apologies.
I mean, she's a incredibly intelligent character. She is on par with John Henry Irons. She works alongside of him at Steelworks to create the city saving inventions that they come up with. So I mean, she's incredibly intelligent. And she fights alongside the super family in a steel suit. That's I mean, it's a guy. She's got to be an incredibly powerful character as well as a incredibly smart character. I mean, spoiler to my knowledge, I don't know a whole lot. I didn't even know that War Games story for her. I do know that she is one of the more intelligent members of the Bat family, especially when it comes to technology. And she does spend a lot of time training with Cassandra Cain. So she's also a formidable hand-to-hand combatant.
Mhm.
And of course with her father being the puzzler, I mean that's kind of one of the things she grew up with. Those are the primary things that I know about her. So I mean, I don't know about her too much about her role with the family. I know she was a Robin at a time. She's got her own moniker. She dated Tim from time to time. But I mean, they're both young and impulsive. I think if there was some sort of need, I think they'd throw down.
All right, Solomon. Thoughts on characters?
Okay, so I watched the video of Spoiler because it was like the history of Robin and has Stephanie Brown in it, which was interesting. Her story was pretty interesting. But now I'm thinking about this. The better character is Starlight. Or Nat. Their history. I don't know much about Nat's history. I don't know much about Spoiler's history. Because I don't read comics and I should. So yeah, I should.
You're young. You got lots of comics and lots of time.
Yeah, you got time, bro.
Shun.
That's harsh on the 10-year-old for not reading comics.
Not reading the past comics.
Yeah, modern comics. I bet he's read Justice League and Kong and Godzilla.
No, we're saving that up. We're saving that up because we kind of want to hit that one. There's 3 issues out now, so we've been.
I meant the first part, not part 2.
Oh yeah, we tore up part 1.
Oh yeah.
So
Read Absolute Batman issue 1, and he was like, "I need to read that whole run." So he'll be cracking that soon.
So, I think role Spoiler just kind of seemed like a cousin,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that works. That
Like
works.
a friend cousin kind of thing, and not
Like you said, like the niece.
like a niece. Yeah. So
it's tricky because I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna jump right in here, Frank. Okay, and just say this: that love is blind, people. Love is blind. Um, I think in some ways
Godfather, ladies and gentlemen. The Godfather.
Nat's a little redundant with her powers. And what I like about spoiler is I'm glad they finally gave her own moniker because I hate that she's ever called a Robin, and I hate that she was also a Batgirl. You know, now she's spoiler and she's on a team of Batgirls.
She was called a Robin.
I know, but I hate that she ever was. She's my second least favorite Robin.
I'm telling you guys need to read War Games, man.
It doesn't matter. Like
you do.
I like that she was ever Robin.
It matters.
So that's why we have crises to erase history. But I guess we'll have to give it to Nat.
It goes to Nat. No question.
To Nat. All right, Solomon.
I was just to say, I would probably delete spoiler. I wouldn't delete Nat.
Yeah.
And if they went to a fight, I think if spoiler had a computer on her or somewhat device on her, hack into Nat's robot system and basically control it, but I still think Nat's probably gonna win with that hammer. So
okay,
we're gonna go Nat.
Now this next one, I thought about pairing them up differently, but I chose them for the redundancies. But we have Batwoman and Power Girl. So, Brian.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not crazy about Batwoman. I mean, I think that the Batwoman from the 60s that was whatever Kane, the original Batwoman.
Kane.
Yeah.
There's Kate and Betty.
Yeah, where she was just another rich lady, and Grant Morrison kind of tried to bring her back and kind of put her into stories and stuff. That Batwoman was a little bit kind of more interesting because she was another female, she was like Batman, I mean, she was a female Batman. That was somewhat interesting, but Bruce's cousin here, Kate, she's okay, but I don't know. I could care less if she exists. It's just it's what it is. She just hasn't really sold me. But Power Girl, on the other hand, I feel is a better character. Mostly the story where she's from Earth 2 and she comes over to our world, and mostly kind of her story around Infinite Crisis time, where she lost her Superman, she lost her Lois, she lost the people that were parents to her, that were mentors to her. She's all alone, and she kind of gets incorporated into the JSA, and Mr. Terrific and is mentoring her, and the original Cyclone's mentoring her and stuff, and she has a friendship with Hawkgirl type stuff, and then she develops that friendship with Batgirl. I kind of like that story, but so I think Power Girl is a little bit better. Their role in the family is kind of almost like a sister, if you will, like a different sister, or you can throw the cousin in there, kind of like that. Yeah, you throw the cousin in there. You have to throw the cousin because Power Girl is a version of Supergirl, just from different multiverse. How important are they? I think these two, as much as it sucks because we need good, strong female characters in comics and just in general, these two just aren't, at least what I've read of them, These two just aren't strong enough female characters. It's like they're written, but we don't know what to do with them. So we have to keep changing things about them. Like we just don't know what to do because we don't know how to write strong females. I think that with the right writer, that something could be done with these two to really do well with it. Get Stephanie Phillips on it. I mean, she went to Marvel, but Stephanie Phillips, huge fan of her. So you need a good female writer that can do anything. So they're irrelevant. Would I delete them? I'd probably keep Power Girl over Batwoman, but honestly, you could delete them both and they wouldn't even matter. Would they fight? Maybe. I think Batwoman's a little bit somewhat more impulsive at times, at least that I can remember. I don't know. And there isn't much to these two.
Impulsive or confrontational.
Yeah,
right.
she's more confrontational. Yeah, both of them are confrontational, but whatever.
All right, Mr. Freeze's stunt double, James, go.
I mean, in this pairing, my favorite's going to be Power Girl. I mean, Batwoman. It has nothing to do with her outfit.
It has everything to do with that outfit.
No, I just think so from the New 52, she was from Earth 2, her and Huntress. Yeah. That was the world's finest book in New 52.
It was Huntress. It wasn't Batgirl, it was Huntress. Gosh.
Yeah, she was with Huntress.
Sorry, it's my apologies.
Oh no, you're good. I know that, she's from another Earth. And Batwoman, I think she's a good character. I think a little more often, just because of it being Gotham, her being a female superhero, her being a gay female superhero, that her stories tend to be a little more serious thematically. I will read her comics. I will read books with her in it. I'll watch the show. I watched the whole CW show. So I think that the character, unlike Batman, probably lacks some of the versatility of Batman, because Batman has been around for so long. We've seen so many different iterations of 66, of Brave and the Bold, the animated series, the Batman anime, Keaton and Kilmer and Clooney. I mean, Batman lends himself to quite a bit. I don't think. Batwoman would fit in any one of those, but I think more as a supporting character. I think when she's the lead, her stories are a little more focused on other things. But yeah, and I think the thing with the whole family here, with all of them, all the books that we're getting, these legacy characters are now being written to come into their own and mature in the more modern day here. I certainly know Power Girl has been going through some of that in her book in the last 20 something, 22, 23 issues.
Why not 24?
Is it 24?
26. All right, Solomon, your thoughts.
The current run.
Okay. I know a little bit of these characters. I have seen Batgirl. I mean, not Batgirl, Batwoman. And I've seen Power Girl before. So the better character I'm gonna lead to Power Girl as a better character. their history has really impacted them, I think, a little bit, but that woman's role, I feel like, is cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Power Girl, cousin. And they are kind of important to the family. Like Power Girl is kind of important. Same with Batwoman's kind of important. But if I could delete a character, I'll probably have to go Batwoman.
Okay.
And I don't think they would fight. Just maybe. But I don't think they probably wouldn't fight. Also, I would like to say that I think if they did fight, Batwoman would kind of have the brain of like, okay, she's gonna come on to attack me. What should I prepare? What should I do? Because I haven't seen the Batwoman TV show in a long time, and I think she would know what to do and what to prepare for the battle of Power Girl, and I think Power Girl will probably win that battle.
Okay.
And probably stand on top.
All right. I'm going to say this. I think Power Girl is over convoluted. I think that they try to get her in there and write stories, and by bringing her into modern continuity now, and they keep changing things. Like they tried to give her, she got the name Paige, and she was going by Paige, and then all of a sudden now they reestablish her as Karen Starr, and they keep changing her costume, and she's like doing these dual identities. I really think she's a character they have no idea what to do with. They're trying to do her in her own book, but it's just like
that's correct.
She doesn't work. Though I think she's a great character if like you were to do it where and I feel like they've tried this, but I feel like it's kind of gotten lost. Where she is the sole survivor of her Earth during a destruction. She's kind of a copy because I mean there's been some really interesting Power Girl stuff recently when they've brought her in for like an issue or two with Supergirl and things like that. But then for the most part, they don't know what to do with her. And it just feels redundant.
Yeah, she was okay with Philip. She was okay when Philip Kennedy Johnson was writing her, and they were having that. Her and Supergirl were having that, relationship building. But
yeah, I think Power Girl and Connor Space would be a good book. Batwoman. My issue with Batwoman is her being Bruce's cousin, because to me that opens up a whole problem with. Okay, so her
just say it, say it. I know what you're thinking. Say it.
Martha's brother.
Yep.
And where were they when the Waynes died?
Where were they?
Where's the whole family?
Tyler.
Like,
preach.
So, Jacob Kane was, Martha's brother. So where were they? During that whole, like a great story I think would be where you have Jacob Kane and his wife wanting to take care of Bruce, but in the will it specifically addresses that Alfred's the one because Thomas and Martha trusted Alfred more. I just think there's a whole story and dynamic that's implied that's not there. So I think with her being Bruce's cousin, I think actually hinders her character. And I think so much about one story gets tied up because of her being a big deal about her sexuality when she came out. I feel like now it doesn't really matter. So it's not as much of a big deal. But like what Brian said, I think you probably delete both these characters and wouldn't really miss a beat or miss much. I think they're very complicated characters to write because they are so trickled down of the other versions. And we'll see even worse versions as we go. But next slide.
I want to comment two things. A problem with Batgirl or Batgirl. I'm like Solo. The problem with Batwoman also is like is when they wrote her in the show, like they have to drill into your mind that she is a lesbian. Like it can't be just like she's a lesbian, she has relations with the females. No, they have to like really let you know that she's a lesbian.
Oh
And like
yeah.
and
Yeah.
like and like all my like gay relatives and gay friends are like, why do they write her like that? Like, why can't she just be a normal person? Like, whatever. But the other thing is the main problem with these characters, I think, really is that you look at Batwoman, you want Batgirl, you want Barbara Gordon or Cassandra Cain. You look at
Yeah.
Power Girl, you want Supergirl, and this is like the Timu versions of those, and that's what it boils down to. You look at these and you just like, no, I want Batgirl, no, I want Supergirl. So
Yeah,
All right.
I just like Batwoman's color scheme.
I do like Batwoman's color
Her
scheme,
suit,
she
her
does
suit
look
and her
good.
color
She
scheme.
does.
especially
Yes.
that artwork.
Yeah,
Here
that
we
one
go.
was really good.
Here we go.
All right.
This
Orphan
is a
slash
tough one.
Cassandra Cain versus Mon-El. I'm gonna go first on this one, and we'll go backwards. I think Cassandra Cain has a good history. They did her horrible in the Birds of Prey film. I don't even want to go into it. We talked about that before. I like that they gave the moniker of Orphan. This is her wearing more of a Batgirl suit but her current Orphan costume is more similar. She, like I said, part of a team with Spoiler that are like they all have a bat symbol on it, even though they don't technically not a bat person. They use Orphan and Spoiler. I like that they have their own identity, which will come up later in the discussion. Mon-El, I can really do without. I'll be honest. Like, I do not like the way they did him on Supergirl, the TV show. First of all, because his name is only Mon-El because of the story that he had with Superman and the history. I haven't really liked Mon-El in comics much at all until the recent story that Mark Waid did in the Phantom Zone. I liked it, but at the end of the day, like he's a Daxamite, and he hasn't got to be used as well as I think as much as he wants. He's kind of like your distant, like I'd say, like your far off, distant, like cousin, brother, relative that's like a friend of the family that you consider family. And I think with Orphan, she's like the quiet, almost black sheep of the family in the way because she's just kind of there. She loves everybody and protects everyone fiercely, but everyone in the family is kind of a little afraid of her at the same time too. But that's my quick spiel.
Her
We're gonna go
parents were killers, assassins.
All right, Solomon, thoughts on characters you don't know a whole lot about on this one?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I know something about Orphan, but I don't know anything about Mon-El either. So I'm discussing right now. I think Mon-El instead of like from their planet should probably be Supergirl's brother. Would have been cool.
Okay.
Just saying this.
They tried to make Supergirl in the animated series more like a Daxamite at one point because they couldn't technically do her as a Kryptonian. Stupid rules.
Who is better? I'm gonna go Orphan. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
I like Black Sheep of Family. Like they're pretty cool people.
All right, Mr. Cole.
I mean, out of this one, I'm gonna go with Orphan. You know, she's got a really cool backstory. What I know of, didn't speak, learned to talk with sign language and her body and read body language. She's the most skilled fighter in the Bat family. Bruce is afraid of her. If it really came down to it, he's worried if it came down to it like that. You know, being the child of Lady Shiva, I mean, one of the another one of the best hand-to-hand combatants, one of the most dangerous woman in the DC universe. Yeah,
Did you date her at one time? Just didn't work out.
yeah. You know, that was a lot. That was something.
Yeah, she was a handful, man.
Mm.
She kept
But-
like hitting you and stuff.
Right. It's like a punching bag, like a practice dummy. Never been manhandled like that before. Sorry.
Never again.
Never again. Yeah. Monel, yeah. I mean, the recent story with Mark Waid is good. But that's most of what I know. Too much from the comics. Couple of little one-offs here and there, but I just feel like, yeah, he's a character that almost lifts out. It was kind of like when Superman found him again, he was surprised to see him in the Phantom Zone, and he was like, all this time, and yeah, it was so. I mean, just Orphan. I think we can delete Monel.
Papa Peters.
Yes, Tyler. You see, Monel is not very interesting of a character. You see, and he's not the worst character ever. But so who's a better character? Orphan, Cassandra Cain by millions of miles. Monel, I don't know who wrote the story, and maybe this is the Mark Waid story you're referring to. But there is a story that I've read where like Monel is a Daxamite that arrives on a Monday, and so Clark.
That's
What's
the
that?
one where he gets his name. I think it's in a Jeff Johns backup and is taken from an old comic. They updated it.
I think you might be right. And like he arrives on a Monday, and then that story is actually quite good because it's a period where Clark feels so alone. You know, he can't talk to people about his powers. He can't talk about stuff he's going on. So he gets a best friend, and he shares that connection with them. I don't know what you showed. It's too small. I can't see.
We got Superman and Batman candy cigarettes, candy sticks.
Ha, nice. But in that story, like, you know, Clark gets a friend, and then Daxamites lead is deadly to them. So, which is pretty crazy. And then he has to put him in the Phantom Zone so he doesn't die. Because from the lead poisoning, and then like just a one-off story, I like it. I like it as a one-off story, but like, what more can you do with him? Like, he's poisoned by lead, he's in the Phantom Zone. What more can you do? Like, whatever. And there is a Daxamite that's way more interesting than Monel. There's a Daxamite that becomes a Green Lantern, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But it's basically like giving Superman a Green Lantern ring. And the Green Lantern ring protects him from lead. So he's pretty much like an unstoppable Green Lantern. I think he becomes Ion after Kyle Rayner, if I remember right. But I can't remember his name. But anyway, more interesting character. As far as Cassandra Cain, I feel that she is the definitive Batgirl. Yes, I said what I said. I think that she is the greatest Batgirl. I think she's absolutely fascinating, being the daughter of assassins and fighters. She's forgotten. She understands what it's like to be abandoned. So her moniker Orphan fits perfectly. I like when she couldn't talk. Her role in No Man's Land was so huge and just great. I think that she's the best Batgirl there is. How can she train other people? She's amazing. So I would put her as kind of her role. I would say to Bruce would kind of be like, it's kind of like daughter, kind of like adopted daughter, if you will, or daughter. I like her in that role, and that's why I absolutely hate Birds of Prey, because I love Cassandra Cain and I just can't deal with it. And Monel, delete him. Who cares about Monel? He's like he's the friend that showed up when you were a kid and then like moved away. Like you know, so you remember him from time to time, but you moved on.
All right.
So
Next up.
yeah. Yep.
Batwing is Val Zod. And I'll start this one. I think Batwing is cool. Being like this techno suit Batman character. We have seen him in live action on the Batwoman show. Being the son of Lucius Fox. I think I like that, you know, that's a kind of a branch legacy with, you know, Lucius Fox. I think Val Zod's a good character, but my problem with Val Zod is he's in so little comics. They have not done enough with him. He hasn't got his own run. We thought we were going to get to see him in the John Kent Superman comic that was a short run, but he was in one issue. We've seen him in some shorts. We've seen him in some of the Earth 2 stuff, but there's not really any direct book to be like, hey, I want to check out a Val Zod story to point to. And I think he's underused and could be a valuable character. So for me, brother from another mother, Batwing for this round.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang. Is right. Okay. So, I know Batwing a little bit, but I don't know Val Zod that much, okay?
And there's the problem right there. There's nothing of Val Zod to show the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the whole Earth 2 run right there. That's about it, though.
All right, we're on our 3-hour drive. Let's go.
Yeah, we're on 3 hours drive. So, I think they are both not important, and I'll probably choose Batwing. Probably gonna win versus Val Zod because I don't even know who Val Zod is, and I don't think I should know who Val Zod is. So I think Batwing, and if I delete one, I would probably delete Val Zod.
Okay.
I would delete Val Zod.
Santa Claus is stunt double and right hand man, and butt double James.
I mean, you know, I like Batwing. I liked him. I like Batwing. I liked him in Batwoman on the CW. You know, he is in Bad Blood, that animated movie. So we've seen him a couple of times. I like the fact that he is, you know, kind of a legacy attached, you know, from Lucius Fox. It's a cool connection. But I read all of the Earth 2 run, and Tom Taylor is an awesome, just a fantastic writer. You know, so much of his stuff is better than, is good. You know, better than not. I like Val. Yeah, I like Val Zod, and I do want more Val Zod.
I want more Val Zod too.
Yeah, I think he's an awesome looking character. I think he's got some good potential. I love his origin in Earth 2 in the New 52. So, I mean, I just want more Val Zod, and right now he's in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, sucks. All right. If Frankenstein had a twin brother but was more handsome, it would be Bryan Peters.
If who had his twin brother? Who?
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just thought
Frankenstein's more handsome twin brother. You got a low bar to clear, Brian.
I know he's talking about Victor. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. See, now you know what's up.
That's why they couldn't put him in the movie. I have no quarrel with Batwing. He can exist or not. It doesn't matter to me. Like a Batman with a lot more tech and like cool wings, like it's cool and all. You know, it's kind of like, it's. I mean, I like Lucius Fox's character, but Batwing to me is like it's kind of like a different version of Batman Beyond, if you will, of Terry McGinnis. Like, he's good. Like, he's all right, but I don't think he's overly necessary. Just me. He's okay. And I guess I don't know enough about him, but Val Zod, I think we need way more Val Zod. I think that we are in a state in the United States of America where Val Zod is the president of his Earth. He is the
Nope,
number
that's
one.
Calvin Ellis. That's Calvin Ellis, the other Black Superman.
Yeah, that's Calvin. That's Calvin Ellis. This
is not Calvin Ellis.
No.
This what?
No, this is
Calvin-
Val Zod.
Calvin Ellis is
I
Earth
thought-
23.
I thought Calvin Ellis was Val Zod.
No,
They're
That
two
he
different
wasn't.
characters.
He wasn't an L. He was actually Zod the whole time.
no, two different people.
Oh, I don't know crap about either of these two.
All right,
My
so
bad.
we're just gonna
My
move
bad.
on to the next one.
All right, he said we need more Val Zod, though.
Exactly, that proves our point right there.
All
right.
Well, no, he's not who I thought he was. We need more Calvin Ellis. Moving on.
So we have the Signal versus Kong Keenan, the Superman of China. I'll go. The Signal is Duke Thomas, and Duke Thomas we were introduced in the We Are Robin story, which I thought was good. Other than that, he became the Signal in his own book, worked under Batman for a little bit, and then like he's been that character that James might have watched this Bat Wheels, because of Allura. Like we watched the pilot 2-3 years ago when it debuted, or was it 4 years ago? I don't even know. And they made Duke Thomas Robin, so he's one of those characters that just kind of gets used. But honestly, I could delete him. I feel like he holds no real strong presence in anything, even as the Signal. They haven't really done anything with him. Kong Keenan, I think, is interesting. I wish he had a different name other than the Superman of China, because that is a great run of stories. And how he gets his powers is fascinating. How they mix in the Taoism and and everything into his ability to manifest powers. So I think he's a really good character. I wish he'd get his own title back again, just appearing in the Superman books randomly. So, Solomon?
I don't know anything about Kong Keenan, but I know stuff from the Signal because I watched that Robin video, the history of Robin.
Don't we have the Fisher Price toy of him?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, the Max.
we do. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably do Signal, because I know him more,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like he probably beat the Superman of China because he looks like Nightwing. If you mix Nightwing, Batman, and Robin together, you'll get Signal.
Okay, James Cole.
I mean, I like Kong in this. I like the run of stories there. Gene Luen Yang is a awesome writer. His run on that, his run on Monkey Prince, Superman Crushes the Klan. Great books, great stories.
His Batman Superman run he did for a little while was good.
Yeah. Signal, I mean, he's another one of those characters that kind of just is somewhere around. I know at one point he was with the Outsiders for a little while, a few years ago. I'm not sure where he is now. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, I like Kong Keenan in this one. And he's more of a disciplined character just because of his beliefs and his training. So I don't think he certainly wouldn't fight unless it was absolutely necessary. That's the character. So,
and I would say that they're both they're important to the family, but they're kind of like the related to because you like married, like you, it'd be like, I married Jania, so like Jania's brother's cousin. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Like,
Right. Well, Keenan's not even Kryptonian.
I know that's what I'm saying. They're both
So-
like that distant kind of relative.
He's an Earthling. Yeah.
Brian.
I really don't know much about either of these characters,
Sure.
but I think we need more strong Asian characters. I think that the Asian community deserves to have a character that they can get behind. That's theirs. That's their Superman. So I'm all for that. So I choose Kong.
I highly recommend the Superman of China book. I highly recommend it. That's why I said I just wish he would have got his own name instead of just always being the Superman of China. All right, the next one, the one this. It's the Bathound versus Crypto the Superdog. We're gonna let Solomon start this one up.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. So, Crypto, the super dog, is pretty good boy. He's a good boy. He loves strength, and I feel like when I heard that The Rock was gonna voice him, I was like, what? The Rock can't voice Crypto. He did a good job. I like Crypto's story and just Crypto himself. He just makes me happy when I see him on screen. I think that's what James Gunn really did. I'm so glad actually, like, in the real movie, they wanted, when the engineer put Crypto in nanites, they wanted Ultraman to punch Crypto as well, but they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. So I think that was a smart decision. Ace, on the other hand, we don't have a lot of Ace now. And I mean, Ace is a good boy. He's a good dog. Kind of like a detective dog that can throw batarangs. But I still think that Crypto might win. I think Crypto is going to win this one. And I'll rather delete Ace than delete Crypto, which I really think Ace's story in the Super Pets was peak. Absolute cinema.
You heard it right here. You heard it right here. I picked these two versions because I actually really like this. I actually really like Super Pets, the movie. I really enjoyed watching it with the kids when we saw it. I shared it with Kylan, the Crypto from our play. He loves this movie. He watches it a lot, as his parents have informed me. It's a great way to introduce kids to these characters. I would love to have this version of Crypto as my dog. And I really liked what they did with Ace in this. And I would love to see, like, if we got a later on Batman Superman film, like Superman gives Batman Ace as a puppy or something to Batman, as a gift. But if you guys, I think it was Tom King who wrote a Ace the Bat-Hound story, or it was either Tom King or Scott Snyder. I think it was Tom King, but I could be wrong. So please don't hate me for messing it up. Where it's Batman saves the dog from a dog fighting, and Alfred spends all the time training him, and we see him like training the dog in the background, and it's like Christmas, and Bruce is like, Alfred, you didn't give a gift, and Alfred's like tired, like, oh, but then you just see the dog curled up with Bruce, and Bruce is just petting him, and that like is a beautiful story of just like Alfred's love for Bruce to give him that companionship. I wouldn't delete either of them because I think they're both great. Like, it sounds corny as can be, but I really think they both do bring something out in the heroes. I wish I would have got to see Crypto use laser beams in Superman the movie, but luckily I have that in Titans. in one of the best episodes of Titans, season 2, episode 6, I think, Superboy. But yeah, I would like to see Ace the Bat Hound in some form. Mr. Cole,
I
thing
mean,
Santa's not leaving his stocking.
I love
Cool.
both the I love both of these characters. I kind of like the origin of Crypto from the New 52. Going through the Phantom Zone.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love that story.
That
It breaks
that
my heart.
story's
It's beautiful.
so good. And how Crypto is more like beastly, almost
he's like a wolf
wolf-like.
dog.
Yeah.
Ride that thing.
Yeah, he was really cool because he was a Kryptonian animal. I really love that story. My besides super pets, the biggest attachment I have to Ace is Batman Beyond, and he was such
Down,
a good
Scooby.
boy
It's
in
just
that.
me.
He was such a
That's
good
my
boy
favorite
in that.
line. Terry's down, Scooby. It's me.
Yeah. So I mean, I love both of the characters. You can't get rid of any of their dogs. So screw that noise.
Yeah.
The
Tell me,
dogs
Brian.
say,
Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me, Brian, your thoughts on this one.
I never want to hear you say I'm gonna delete them anyway. No.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There we go. There
They're
we go.
not getting.
I never want to hear you say that.
Yeah.
I think the Ace story, with the dog fighting, I'm very, very sure that is a king story. I'm pretty sure it is. But another story with Ace is that Ace. Oh, hold on. What's that? Hit a run button. Ace helps Batman find missing pets for kids. There is a story, and I don't even know who wrote it, where Ace helps a kid that's being bullied get his dog back. Like the kid's deaf, so that's why it really hit me. The kid was deaf, and he's telling Batman with sign language that, like, my puppy got taken. These bullies took my puppy, and he's using sign language. And Batman uses sign language back and basically says, "We'll find your dog." And then he gives the toy to Ace, and Ace helps him find this dog. And then the kid's so happy, he has his friend. And the comic ends with Batman has this whole entire row in the Batcave of all these missing pets that him and Ace have helped find, and all these missing kids and stuff, and that Ace has helped find. So I think that these two characters are very underrated in terms of the Bat family and what they bring to the table, because Bruce and Clark, like, they're very lonely characters at times. So having a dog there to be with them and help them through the tough times, I think that we need them more. I think in the DCU, that James Gunn recognizes the importance of kind of having a dog and having him with Superman. And I really hope that we do get Ace, and I hope that Superman does give Batman a dog and says, like, for the times that you feel lonely, something like that. Like, this will help you, Bruce. And I hope it's kind of a story before he gets kind of dick and whatever and whatever. But or maybe when one of the Robins leaves, like, he's like, here's a dog to kind of help you. I think these two characters are wonderful, and you can never get rid of a dog, or you're just pretty much a Nazi. Moving on.
All right. All right.
You cannot get rid of your dog.
I'm gonna let Solomon kick off the next one. But we have Red Hood, Jason Todd, versus Osla Ray, Red Sun. Now, what makes me mad about this is I always thought Red Sun would be a really great moniker. Brian and I have talked about this for Connor.
That's what I've been
then I feel
saying.
like-
I've been saying.
I know.
I said.
I know.
first.
And I'm giving you props for it. Like,
So that's why I laugh about it when I saw that they made his name that. But anywho,
and yeah, I will talk about more, but I'm gonna let Solomon talk about Red Hood. Go, buddy.
So, what I've been hearing is that these characters have a lot in common. Like, my favorite person in the Bat family is Red Hood. I love Red Hood. I cherish Red Hood with all my heart.
It's the way Peacemaker cherishes peace.
That's what he's a beat of freedom. But
best dimension ever.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You guys must. So no, I watched the episode yet. But moving on.
Oh, we did. We watched it last night
yeah.
together.
Watched it last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love Red Hood. My cousin loves Red Hood. We all love Red Hood. And then we have Otha Ray. I don't know more. I don't know a lot about him. Though his suit's pretty sweet, but yeah, they do have a lot in common, like anger. I feel like if I turn like angrier and like got stuff my fear and not hopeful, I'll probably turn into Red Hood.
Okay.
I would say, but I'm going Red Hood. I feel like he would beat that kid to death. By the way,
Yeah.
I know that's great. He did the Joker. Beat up, just
So I'm gonna jump in here.
yeah. So.
I like Red Hood when he's written very well because you take Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake, and you write them as three brothers, and you Jason being the middle child, kind of the forgotten, lost, leftover child with most of the issues. He can be a very well done dynamic where he has a grudge, a sense with Batman, and kind of lives on the skirts of the Bat family. Oslo Ray, I think, was a really good idea for Philip Kennedy Johnson, but I think the problem is you added these two kids into a story, and the issue was you didn't really get the story that could have been done where you don't get like this almost jealousy angle from John about his parents and him seeing what he lost as a child with these kids being raised by his parents and adopting by his parents. There was too many super character family members around, so I feel like they didn't get to shine as much as they could have, especially when they kind of stepped out. And just as predicted, like they've kind of been forgotten and have disappeared from the comics since why am I drawing a blank, James, on who's writing right now? Williams. Williams is taking over.
Williamson.
So Williamson, sorry. So I really feel like there were more stories that could have been done with these characters. It was a little bit of a missed opportunity. So I would definitely put this as a Red Hood win. Cole.
Well, I mean, Red Hood's got the popularity, and he's a good character. He's got a lot of stories, a lot of years. He's a fun character because he is dynamic, complex. Sometimes he gets angry and leans towards the vengeful side a little hard. It doesn't do much killing these days, but he did a lot before. Oso Ra he's the part they played in the story, was good for the War World saga. And there, like you said, there were some interesting ideas that were there. The kid, but yeah, the twins have disappeared. They're nowhere to be found. They haven't shown up in anything. None of the books that I've seen. John's over with the Secret Six. Supergirl's got her book, but she's over alone in Midvale. Power Girl, Superman and Lois, they're at home. And, she was Superwoman, but there's not been a mention of the twins.
Exactly. So,
and he even had the speculation that because he now possesses that fire of Ulgron, that he was going to that it was going to burn him up from the inside, and he was going to become some type of dangerous, demigod.
I do know that Philip Kennedy Johnson's got the first issue of his new Book of L or whatever it is just came out, and I wonder if he'll tap into their story or something there, because I mean, like I said, I just feel like when you bring in a character like this in main continuity and you don't get to flush them out, I feel like there was leftover opportunity there. But all right,
I'm looking forward to his new book, Book of L.
Bye. Yeah.
Went to a dance, looking for romance. Saw Red Hood. I thought I would take a chance. I don't know who the heck this kid is. This Revolver Ocelot, whatever. I don't know who the heck this kid is. So, delete. I think
poll there. I like that.
What's that?
I said nice Metal Gear pull.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping someone would recognize it. But I don't know who the heck this kid is. So get him out of here. He sucks. And to give that name to Connor. Speaking of Connor, I think that the real versus here is Red Hood versus Connor. I think that's where it really is. Because when Connor was cloned and created and he first started out, Superman really didn't know what to do with that kid.
Hold that thought when we get to Connor.
Holding. But the real versus is Red Hood versus Connor, in my opinion.
And maybe that'll be a special discussion because we'll get when we get to Connor. I'll talk about why I paired like I did.
Sure, but Red Hood all the way. Red Hood's better. The fight needs to be against Connor, the real Red Son. And moving on, and to Tyler with the weather.
It's gonna rain. All right, so I put this in here.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Bluebird, created by Scott Snyder, Harper Row, and Otha Ra, Starchild. Same things I said last time for Starchild. I hear Starchild, I immediately just think of Paul Rudd in Role Models. And if you haven't seen that movie, we're wrong. Bluebird, Harper Row, good character, created by Scott Snyder. Another one that's one of those created by a great comic book writer, but then none other writers have really picked up. She did appear in she did make the leap.
Batman number 7. Batman number 7.
She did make a leap to Gotham Knights, the TV series, and she did appear in season 4 or 3 of Young Justice.
Yeah, I think actually.
I think it might have been season 3. I can't remember. So I'm gonna give her the win by a slight margin, just because she was protecting her brother, and Scott Snyder's the best. So
Ditto.
Solomon, what do you say? Ditto?
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. But I don't know who the crap are these people. I've seen Bluebird before, and it just looks dumb.
Okay.
And it looks like a Temu knockoff, worse than Temu Nightwing, basically. And Otare, she's gonna win this, because I don't know her. I'm gonna agree with you because I'm gonna agree with you, and no one can judge me. So don't be suing me or judging me. So I'm gonna go Otho Ray, Star Child.
Okay, Bry guy.
I don't know who this child of David Bowie and Madonna is. You know, Starman, Starlight, Starbright. I don't know what the heck this thing is. You know, Otho Ra. Wasn't that a character in Beetlejuice? That was a decorator. You know, Ortho. I don't know.
Yes, that was Otho.
Whatever. I don't know what the heck this kid is. Get him out of here. Bluebird's created by Scott Snyder. Child of abuse and abandonments. You know, add to the family. Score one for Bluebird and Scott Snyder all day. Scott
All right.
Snyder. All day.
All right. So next one, I'm gonna let Brian go first on this one because he's gonna have a lot to say. This is gonna be his favorite characters, and this is a good one. I think this is a good pairing. I think it's tough. But so you guys ready for this one? You ready? Red Robin / Robin Tim Drake versus John Henry Iron Steel.
I think that this is the best fight on the card so far. This one's really good. I mean, an argument of Steel. You know, Steel. Steel was saved by Superman. You know, Steel took up the mantle when Superman was dead. He built a suit. He showed people how much Superman was needed. You know, the world needed Superman, and that symbol needed to be there of hope. John is amazing with tech. John has Steelworks. John always has Clark's back. But to my knowledge, John doesn't have enough really good stories other than probably the Reign of Superman. Like, there's that story near Infinite Crisis where Luthor is like kind of giving people meta powers and he makes him like covered in steel, and there's that whole thing kind of there. Like steel is a big part of 52, which is like the break between Infinite Crisis and like everything afterwards. Like, he's just, Steel is a good supporting character, but he's not interesting enough for me to want to read him all the time. Just me personally. Like, he's just a good support. Tim Drake, on the other hand, is the Robin. Tim Drake is the Robin. Dick Grayson was never meant to be Robin full time because Dick is off to bigger and better things. Jason Todd was never meant to be Robin for the duration because of his arrogance and just impulsiveness. Tim Drake found out who Batman was, and he proved to him that I'm meant to be Robin. And through all the crap, through Bruce deciding to choose John Paul Valley as his successor, and Tim having to bring Bruce and the spirit of Batman back, from the dead or whatever. All the stuff that Tim has been with, when Tim was infected in Contagion and Tim almost died, like Tim, and he's the first Robin to get a solo series, may I add. And there's a reason why Tim is going back as Robin in the new Batman #1 with Matt Friction. But Tim is the definitive Robin. He is the best Robin, and the second best Robin that's growing on me is Damian Wayne. Yes, I said it. Damian Wayne's grown on me.
Oh,
he's grown on me. But Tim is still the number one. Tim all day. Tim's a better character. Tim has a better impact. He has a better role in the family. He really is the. While Dick is, the firstborn and stuff, Tim's the baby son. Tim's the one that really gets probably maybe the most love. He's the baby boy. How important are they? I think Tim is so freaking essential because he reminds everybody why they need to be there, what the purpose is. And he's suffered a lot of tragedy. Would I delete any of these characters? If I wouldn't delete any of them, but if I have to, I would probably delete Steel. But I think Steel was very important to the return of Superman, and I wouldn't delete any of them. The end.
Okay, Solomon.
Okay. So we're going to have Steel versus Red Robin Tim. Okay. Steel is such a good character. He's a good character, same as Tim. Tim's my favorite Robin. Just want to say that. And I feel like if I could go with one of them, if I was like, that one is going to be it, I'm going to probably go Robin. And if I could delete one, I would not delete any. And they're just really good characters, but Tim is going to win this one.
Okay. Slim Coal. Coal Fire. Someone start calling it Coal Fire.
Coal Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this. I definitely think that Tim is the more popular character. Everybody loves Tim Drake as Robin. And it's sad that he gets the short end of the stick as Robin. In most iterations, his name was used for Robin in the animated series, The New Adventures, and but he was mostly Jason Todd.
Yeah.
In most of that respect, but Steel, I mean, he's an incredibly smart, inventive genius. He's his suit and his technology is, I mean, he fights alongside Superman in it. It's pretty damn impressive. If it came down to a fight between them, I think I'm giving it to Steel. But as characters, I wouldn't get rid of either one of them. They both play a very important role, especially upon their entrance into the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim's had quite a few important stories over the years. It's just in the last 10, 15 years that he's kind of been lost, with Damian stepping in as like the primary Robin.
Yeah. So some sort of live action debut. I think I'm going to give it to Tim. But what I love about Steel is Steel really represents Superman's mission and ideas come to fruition. He was a man who was saved and he decided to pay it forward. And when Superman was taken, he decided to uphold Superman's values, to do something about it, and to protect the people that he loved and to fill in for the person that saved him. And I love that Steel is the Man of Steel, like literally, and really kind of taking that, like one of Superman's monikers and making it his own. I think he's a great character. He's had some good stories, but there's no like, oh, you point to that Steel story type thing. I think there is a Steel story like that yet to be written. And what's sad about Tim is Tim's like the best Robin that everyone's cherry picked. And what I mean like that is, you look at the animated series, it's Dick Grayson, but we're giving him Tim's costume. Batman Forever, it's Dick Grayson, but we're going to give him basically Tim's costume.
Preach, because Tim's the best.
Tim's. So they just pretty much that took everything that was Tim's, and then in comics, they tried to retcon stuff like, especially in the New 52, when they tried to show what the first Dick Grayson Robin suit was and stuff like that. And then in the New 52, where they try to take that Tim was never Robin, he was just Red Robin, because they were trying to condense the timeline. So poor Tim has just kind of really got the short end of the stick in a lot of other media, because what made him as Robin unique, they kept taking away from him. And being that he's the third Robin, it's very difficult sometimes to get him into live action, because we really haven't got to play around that. Like, he did make his appearance on Titans. I thought the character was good, but could have been better.
Well, when they try to boil down the entirety of comic book histories and you put it into at most 3 movies, to make a trilogy, you kind of run out of room to be able to tell multiple stories with like 3 or 4 Robins,
And that's why, like, it would be, if you would do a Batman film where it picks up where he doesn't have Robin, and it's the story of Tim becoming Robin. Like Nightwing's already there and moved on, and Jason's back doing his own thing, and it's Batman by himself. Like, after having no sidekick, I think there's a story there. But yeah,
Michael Dorn's 6-issue Steelworks at the dawn of DC was a good modern Steel story. If you haven't read it,
it is good. But I feel like it's not great.
Yeah,
But
it's only a
nothing that,
6-issue
holds up.
story. It's not like a continuing run or anything.
So here's a big one. You guys ready? Batgirl, Barbara Gordon versus Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. Solon, you want to go first?
They're both too iconic. They are both wonderful characters. They're well, I mean, Supergirl and Batgirl, they would never fight. I would say that too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they became best of friends, like when they first met already. But if I could, I hate saying this, but Supergirl is gonna win.
Okay.
Because
I'm gonna jump in here. I like Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. The idea that, like, she is a different dynamic that teeters between Bruce as Batman and Jim Gordon, of where she sees a different side of Jim Gordon and what he does, and actually represents that Batman's mission is important. We're looking at Barbara's Batgirl, but we can also talk about how she finds her way as Oracle as well, because we've mentioned other characters with their secondary identities and things like that. I think Kara is Oracle. Supergirl is very important because it is Superman's cousin. This is like the one where I said, you could talk cousin dynamics between Supergirl and Batwoman, both being the cousins, but Batgirl and Supergirl have been seen together more. One of my favorite episodes of the animated series is when they were together. We've talked about Kara a lot on this show, and I think she's a great character. I mean, even though, like, her story does get Supergirl moniker does get really convoluted too, when they bring in, like, the Linda Danvers, Linda Lee. Even in her new book now, where they're trying to go back to the Danvers thing, it does get really mucky. But her being, his cousin, I think, is a really great story, especially with what Loeb did bringing her back. But holy.
I mean, you can't. Batgirl has been so important to the Bat family over the years. She was Batgirl, like you said. She played that role of kind of like, being Batman, but also like what towing that line of her father being a police officer and everything. Um, and of course, the role she played as Oracle for many years. Supergirl, yeah, we've talked about her quite a bit. I mean, that's she's a big part of our show. Um, sometimes the thing is with her character, she gets pushed into being Superman, but a girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We know that's not the case. We've seen that a lot, and we've talked about it a lot. That's not always the case. Um, and she's a really good character, very um, um, passionate character when it comes to the things she cares about, and the trauma and the history that she has. I'm actually excited to hopefully next year get to see and get and a lot of people get to see the fact that she is very different from Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an important distinction. And I'm gonna go with Cars or L.
Okay, Brian.
I like Barbara Gordon better as Oracle. Um, I I like Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. I like Barbara Gordon as Oracle. I think that she was written better. She was more interesting as Oracle, as this woman fighting, abuse and also like trying to find her worth after tragedy. Um, so in saying that, we're not talking about her as Oracle. We're talking about her as Batgirl. Um, so so I like. I mean, Barbara Gordon's the OG. I think that Barbara is. I think Barbara's a more interesting character than Supergirl. Just overall, whether she's Batgirl or Oracle, I think Barbara is just a better character. Um, I find more often than not when I see Supergirl or deal with Supergirl, I've found Supergirl extremely boring. Just me personally. So, I am intrigued by the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story, though, and I haven't finished the comic yet. But so far, it's I'm liking her. I'm really, really liking her. Um, when you and I haven't finished the comic yet, but I think when the Supergirl show came out, you as much as I think the first season was pretty strong, um, but more often than not, you're like, I just want to see Superman, and
Mm-hmm.
and they gave her all like Superman villains. Like it's just we want to see Superman, and then we get Tyler Hoechlin Superman eventually, like not even that far into it, and then she gets overshadowed by Superman. Like you put Superman in that, everybody's like, I want to see Superman, and no one cares about Kara. Um, and that needs to stop. And I think that the DCU is going to do that. And they are showing her how different she is, and that's what you need. You need that difference. You need that. Hey, my whole life, has been gone away from me. I was here to protect you, and you're old. You're not even a baby anymore. Like, so I don't have that purpose of protecting you. You don't need it. Um, I know what Krypton's like, and it's gone. You don't know anything of what Krypton was like. Like, focus on that story, and I think they're going to do well with that. So Kara is, the cousin, of course, Superman. Barbara is like Barbara. I don't like Barbara and Bruce having any romantic relationship, and I know that
Oh,
Bruce
oh.
Tim was what?
No, we all hate Bruce Tim for
No.
that.
Yeah, like
that
it was beyond disgusting. It ruins the relationship between Bruce and Jim. It's just I freaking hate it. Um,
Should never been
I
done.
yeah.
never been done. It's disgusting. So
I-
if so, I think that Barbara. I think Barbara is the better character. She's a little bit more essential to the overall operation of Batman. But I think that in terms of Kryptonian relatives, that Kara's all Superman needs. Just my opinion. That's all he
Yeah.
needs. He needs kind of that cousin sister. I think they're both essential. I can't really delete either of them. I don't think they would. Well, I think that Supergirl will probably fight Barbara eventually. I can't delete either of them, but I think Barbara is a better character.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. The Battle of the Super Sons. We have Robin, Damian versus Super Son, Superman, Superboy, John Kent. That's why I grabbed the picture I did, because it's showing him in his different phases. Because Bendis, man, Bendis.
Yeah.
Should have just stuck with Daredevil and Ultimate Spider-Man.
I picked this one because I don't like that they call John Superman. I don't like that there's two. I think I liked him as Superboy. I like the idea that at a point where we have, Damian and John are both biological children. So this is the different dynamic that they share. Damian is the biological son of Bruce Wayne. John Kent is the biological son of Clark Kent. I find both characters very interesting. I think the Battle for the Super Sons film was a really fun, good movie, and I wish we would have gotten a sequel to it. I like the dynamic of a lot of the stories of what John brings out in Damian. Damian's one of the few characters in comics who's actually kind of aged in a way, because he was a little older than John. Then Bendis aged him up to where John was older than Damian, but Damian's kind of caught up with him a little bit. But now John's a little bit older still. I think they make a good dynamic. I really enjoyed Tomasi's stories with them together as the Super Sons. John brings a light to Damian's darkness, much like Clark does to Bruce's. I think Damian as Robin represents something interesting with the dynamic of Bruce Wayne being with his son. And at that point in comics, Damian's a character that's actually grown. And as we did many years ago, about 5 years ago, if you watch the whole DC animated collective universe, starting with Justice League War and ending with Justice League Dark Side War, the character that has the arc is Damian. Every other character in that whole universe, hero stays in the same, but Damian has a journey through Batman and Son, Batman Bad Blood, Robin versus Batman, Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, Teen Titans versus the Justice League, and then of course in Darkseid War. I think he's a really and I've been keeping up with the comics recently with him and Batman, and their Batman and Robin title's been really good together. John, I think, is a really good character, but I think Bendis really screwed up by aging him up, and it made him to a point now where he's obsolete as a character, because you just have Superman with no purpose. He's not really in his own book. He appears in other books. And they had an opportunity and they screwed it up, and I blame Bendis. So I'm going to give it to Solomon. Take it away, kiddo.
These both characters, I love them both. And actually, it's a tie for me. Okay. I feel like me personally, myself, like if I were one of them, I'll be both of them in one. Just Solomon.
Mm.
I mean, I kind of have the light
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have the dark side, like Damien,
Yeah.
and serious side.
You do.
So
Can be vicious.
yes. So I love them both. And I'm so glad that I'm the same age as John.
You
Yeah.
were in the main comics, yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah. I love them both. And they're both great. So
All right. Coalfire.
I mean, they're both really great characters.
All right. Thanks, James. That was great.
Yeah. They're both really great characters. That I mean, the best from both of them is when they have both been together. In my opinion, just from what I've read of both of them. Damien has had, quite the journey. Unfortunately, most of John's has been it was it wasn't in panel, and so much of it now is in other books. It was in Teen Titan, or it was in Titans, and then now it's in Secret Six. And in that one they keep calling him Superman's kid. Not even Superman. They keep calling him Superman's kid. I mean, he doesn't have a name. Part of him being there is kind of like he has no place else to be. I mean, I think he's a really good character, and Tom Taylor's writing on him was really great, and I'm interested to see where he's going right now, where Nicole Maines is writing and taking that story and taking John with it, because the big interaction with her writing there is the relationship between Dreamer and John. So, I mean, that's really cool. But I mean, if this were to be like a fight, I think that they're both such good legacy characters. I mean, yeah, I think John's was there was a lot of missed opportunity. I think I'm glad somebody's trying to do something with him. Currently, he's not just somebody who's not in the books. Like, we had all those little tiny stories throughout the different action books, for a little while.
Don't even
there
get me.
where we had a
Don't even get
couple
me
of-
started on Tom King and his Trinity story, because I'm scratching my head to figure out what's going on, where this is going on, and how this is going to work. So
Right, because at what point are John and Damien taking care of Trinity that we've seen?
Yep.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like I just
Like,
Tom King is doing his thing over here, and I'm like making my head
yeah,
hurt, bro.
it's annoying when writers like that get to. I mean, it's kind of like the Superman. It's not so far so good, but the Superman Unlimited story, it's not like canon of what's going on in the stories. So they get to
Yeah.
just do whatever they want. So it's nice to see, but yeah, the best they had when they're together. I think they're both important these days, and they should stay right where they are. Like being the legacy that they are.
Okay, Brian.
Damien's a better character. He hasn't been screwed up yet. He has to prove himself to his father. He has to prove that he's not had that evil of his mother and his grandfather. He has amazing stories. Jonathan and Damian, they had the opportunity with these two guys to have them grow up in real time. Superman and Batman have been around since the 1930s. They're soon to be 100 years old, you know, and they're going to go in the public domain, for God's sakes. So to have them have children, blood children, and now Wonder Woman has a child, you know, we can lead into a new generation, but Bendis decides to age up Jonathan and just ruin him forever. And there's no going back unless they just age him back.
Oh, there was a great story. There was a
Like-
great story, and I'm not and so pissed it was a one issue. And it's an issue of Shazam. And that's all I'm going to say is in the DC All In, there's an issue of Shazam. I can't remember the number that has guest appearance of John Kent. That was a great story that really could have led to some other great stories.
There you go. You just
And then-
reverse it. You just reverse it. You just reverse what Billy Zane goes to Shazam. You just reverse it. Boom, done. If that's what the story is, that's genius, and that's what you do. You reverse it. Boom, magic. But magic can't work on Kryptonians, so I don't know how it'll work. But anywho, they ruined John Kent. Damian's better. Moving on. Delete John Kent as an older adult.
Oh, as an
Okay, as an
adult.
older
Okay.
adult,
Oh, okay.
like-
As
okay.
an adult.
All
As an
right.
adult, keep him as a child, have him grow in real time. I said what I said.
Catwoman versus Superwoman Lois. And I'm actually going to let Mr. James Cole start this one.
Oh man. I mean, it's Lois Lane. You Catwoman comes close, but you can't top Lois Lane. So even before she was Superwoman.
That is the correct
No.
answer.
So there it is. There it is. Moving on.
Brian?
I think I gotta, play devil's advocate here. Selena Kyle, she just betrays Bruce every left and right. He can't depend on her. She's the femme fatale. She's the original femme fatale. She had a conversation with the Joker and decided to leave him at the altar or whatever. You can't trust her. She's better as a villain. She's better as that what if story. Lois is loyal. Lois is the one. She is the blueprint for where it needs to be. Lois all the way. The end. I wouldn't delete either of them, no, because I think Catwoman is very essential for Bruce to have this thing in his mind of what if I could be happy? What if Selena could change? Blah, 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 yakky smacky.
I agree, but Lois is my winner.
Lois.
All right. Here is one of my favorites. Alfred versus Martha Kent.
Oh!
Now, before anyone starts
Martha
jumping
Kent
in,
runs him through with a pitchbook. The end. No. That's right. Been watching too much Clown in the Cornfield.
both of these characters I think are excellent characters. Both basically adopted children. I didn't put Jonathan Kent on here because in a lot of comics, it's always a toss up of is he alive? Is he not alive? In another media, too, is he alive or not alive? I think a lot of times Alfred doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Yeah.
I recently read the novelization of Batman and Robin, and there was a lot in that novel that really paid more to Alfred. And you don't get the man that Bruce is or the man that Clark is without these people. And, for the humbles of having Martha as mother, as my friend Anthony says, the ultimate Hail Mary of sending Clark into space to Earth, and the Kents are the ones that find him, is the ultimate win. So I think these two are a wash, man. You can't delete them. They both are above the patriarchy, and they both represent the sole support of the main character. Solomon.
Same here.
I mean, you said it best right there.
I'm trying to find out how to put Bane. Brian. I'll try to figure out how to put Bane and Brian together, but I can't.
I know.
So,
He's using the picture of Bane snapping Alfred's neck.
I know. I have to give it to them for not retconning that yet and not changing that. Like that's still lingering as existing. So, and it's been
I like
good.
how they have used Alfred on in another universe since he has died, but not Alfred on that Earth.
Mm-hmm.
On Earth Prime, you know.
So, bye-bye. Thoughts?
You know, I think that you wouldn't have. Okay, I know I said that like you wouldn't have a Bat family without Batman, of course, but you really wouldn't have a Bat family if it wasn't for Alfred. You know, Alfred for the longest time was Bruce's family. You know, one of the greatest comic retcons of all time is changing Alfred. Alfred, when he first started, was a fat, bumbling idiot butler. And then the retcon was he went on vacation and he just lost all this weight out of nowhere. And he comes back.
A great end story retcon.
Like it's fantastic. You know, here's a guy that loved a family so much and loved his friend Thomas so much that when Thomas is gone, he decides to give up his whole entire life and anything that he might have wanted to do with his life, maybe being an actor or in some stories being in the military. He decides that I'm going to take care of this boy. And some stories it's like he didn't want to take care of him. I don't like those parts of the stories. I like it where he makes the sacrifice and is like, you know, Thomas, I can't leave your boys alone. There's like, you know, if Solo and Sayla didn't have anybody and something happened and there was something where Tyler said, I need you to take care of my kids. There would be no hesitation in any part of anything in me.
I'm tearing up.
And I'm tearing up right now. Just thinking about it, you know, like
I told Brian, and that goes back to the line of Alfred I told that gets me every time in the Nolan trilogy is when Bruce is arguing with Alfred and Alfred states, because a good man once made me responsible for what mattered most to him in the entire world. And that line gets me every time.
And Alfred is one of the greatest characters in comics and literature. He is the glue. He is the cement that holds it all together. And without Alfred, now I haven't read any comic after Alfred passed. Well, now I found out Alfred passed away. It really hurt me. So I haven't read Tom King's thing yet. I just kind of like know bits and pieces of what has happened. That's gonna be really hard for me to read that panel and read the build up to Bane killing him. It's gonna be really tough. Martha Kent. I don't think Martha Kent gets a lot of respect as she should in terms of just like, you know, I think we've been saying this for years that there needs to be a story where maybe Martha passes away and John has to raise Clark all by himself.
Yep.
I think Martha's a fine character. But I don't think she has the depth that I don't think she gets enough depth or kind of respect as Alfred has been getting. Um, and it's fine. So I think that Alfred is one of the most important and vital characters. I love Alfred. I love his sarcasm that he gets in Batman the Animated Series. When we're done here, I'm going to watch some Batman Animated Series because
Sounds good.
it's the anniversary of it as of the time of this recording, and it's also Michael Keaton's birthday. But yeah, I think I'm caught up in my emotions, and that's why I'm rambling. So
I'm just going to say this: Pennyworth, the show, missed the opportunity to show a strong bond of friendship develop between Thomas, Alfred, and Martha, to why you would believe that this man would raise their son. They really missed the opportunity to make them become his best friends in a way that you see them working as like a family, almost to where you could see a story where that leads him to coming to work for them. And he decides to raise their child because these are his two best friends. It was a very missed opportunity to really set that and show that friendship.
At this point, it's just because he had a job for life and he was set with money for life. He never had to worry. He was just shocked that the boy grew up to be Batman.
Yeah, it's just there's no greater love than laying down your life for a friend, and Alfred did that. And he didn't complain. He didn't say that this was a bad choice. He didn't have any regrets, and he gave his life for 4 boys so far. And I want to be Alfred when I grow up. There you go.
Everyone says they want to be Batman or Superman. Nobody says they want to be Alfred. That's who we should all strive to be. All right, the last one, the one that Brian's going to have a lot of opinions on. So we'll let him breathe for a moment. It is Dick Grayson, Nightwing versus Superboy Connor. I chose this pairing because they're both the first sidekicks, kind of partner representation of the legacy moving on. As in Nightwing, Dick Grayson was Robin into Nightwing, and then Connor was Superboy. But this goes back to what you were talking about earlier, that Connor should have gotten his own moniker. Connor should have been like the Dick Grayson to John Kent. It should have been like this very Superman's brother. I think Connor represents Superman's brother and should have been, the fun uncle to John. And we didn't really get that story. It should have been a story of John and Connor together where he kind of, in a way, John already is Superboy, but Connor approves and kind of gives him the mantle. Maybe even takes off his jacket and puts it on John or something. And Connor gets his own mantle and steps into, kind of growing up instead of just still being Superboy. So I really feel like Connor has been done dirty. I particularly like the black t-shirt Connor. I would have liked that costume more than this, the red pant retro, whatever they're trying to do here with him. Jackets for a while, so that's not a big deal. But I always like the black shirt. They could have made that more of a stylish costume too. Dick Grayson, I think, is an amazing character, period. It shows that he's the one that really made Robin a mantle, because he leaves Robin behind, becomes Nightwing, and maybe would have thought of, we have to have a new Robin, until Jason Todd picked it up. Dick Grayson is a great example of trauma, in the sense that him and Bruce both witnessed basically the same trauma, but Dick had a support system of not just Alfred but Bruce himself, and how Dick grew from that and matured and grew and overcame things, while Bruce still holds on to his pain and lets it control him, and how you can experience the same trauma, two different people can choose different outcomes. So I really think these are both strong characters, but I do give it to Nightwing for this. I wouldn't delete either of them. I need some good writing for Connor because he does feel much like Power Girl as a character that doesn't really have any place right now. Any comments from Solomon?
That's my last comment, guys. I'm the Nightwing.
Okay.
Nightwing is just. I kind of like Superboy Connor, but I like John better. Cause that's just me. But I love Nightwing. I love the character, and I love Dick Grayson. Be my third favorite Robin.
All right. From one beard to another. Cole.
I mean, in this, Nightwing is the better character. Dick Grayson's been around for so long; he's grown so much. Tom Taylor's story recently. It's funny. Everything keeps coming back to Tom Taylor recently. But his Nightwing run that he just finished up is, some people have said, one of the best Nightwing runs ever. So I know I haven't read the whole thing, but what I did read of it so far, I have really, really enjoyed. I mean, he's the better character of the two. I mean, it's gonna have to go with Nightwing here. I mean, neither one of these characters, I think, at this point, are gonna fight each other unless the fate of the world is at stake. But I do agree that Connor had been done dirty, and Connor really should have passed the moniker of Superboy on to a young John Kent, and he should have been his own character, Red Sun. Even could have made his ass Flamebird, Nightwing and Flamebird. They could have had a partner book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like that would have even been cool. It'd be funny. We probably wouldn't be having Jimmy Flamebird all the time right now if that was the case, but it would have worked. And certainly wouldn't have had John aged up to where he was, or where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
So both great characters. Nightwing has grown and evolved. I mean, Superboy Connor, he has. I mean, look at Young Justice. If they would have written him over the years like they did with Young Justice, yeah, sure, he doesn't age physically, but he matures, as a person, and becomes, a much better person and a great hero in his own right. He has some different powers and things like that than the other Kryptonians, so there's some things that make him unique. I think they just did him a bit dirty, writing him off the board and then kind of bringing him back where he basically was when he left, and bypassing him with John.
All right. Bryan Peters.
Yeah. I think that Connor should be matched up with Jason Todd. Because Jason Todd is born from Batman and the Joker. Connor is birthed from Superman and Lex Luthor. They should be partnered together. That's just me. It's not my podcast. But
no, I mean, you make a strong argument. Like it was tough. Like, because I think Connor falls into between both of them. I was trying to lean towards that kind of first kind of sidekick vibe.
I'm just busting balls.
But you make good points.
I probably would have put Nightwing maybe with Supergirl. But whatever. With Connor, like Connor, he kind of went into the same issue as Steel. Like the Reign of Superman story is very strong. That initial Superboy run isn't bad. He runs into he runs into like Hawaiian God.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of gets his own somewhat Lois Lane thing with I don't know. She's too old for him. That's what really matters. but I forget her name. He gets the introduction of King Shark. King Shark was originally Superboy's villain, and but they obviously didn't know a lot of what to do with him. They give him this, tactile telekinesis thing, kind of give him something different. I still don't even remember how it works, to be honest with you. But
telekinesis.
It's I don't know, it's weird. Like he can vibrate objects and I don't know what. But he doesn't shine until we get that story in Teen Titans where he's in the red shirt, the launch of Teen Titans, kind of leading up into Infinite Crisis. And he has a relationship with Wonder Girl. And then he finds out that he's part Lex's clone too. And we get this really good story and we get this really good conflict. And then we get the story with Infinite Crisis where he helps kind of take down Superboy Prime and stuff. And then what we do with them. And then we get the New 52 and they really butcher them and destroy, it's horrible. And then I think it's in New Frontier or something. And we see in Suicide Squad, there's this big reveal that Superboy is part of Suicide Squad, but it's not really even him. It's his Bizarro character of Match. They just don't know what to do with the guy. And they really, really ruined him. And I think he needs to be kept, but he needs somebody that can do something with him. It needs to be a story of probably duality of that I have part of Lex in me. You could have this guy be a scientist, you could have this guy, there's so much you can do with him. I probably could write a story and I should. But going on to Dick Grayson.
They started a really good story with him in Titans season 4 that I think they could have done more with. They didn't.
See, I didn't watch Titans season 4 yet. I suck. I know. But I'm sorry. But with Dick Grayson's better than Batman. Dick Grayson is showing that overcoming trauma. I have a lot of trauma. Some of us have trauma. And that's kind of where I'm still in the Batman thing. But I wish I could be Dick Grayson Nightwing and overcome some trauma. Dick is the best character in DC Comics. He is the kind of heart and soul of DC Comics. And I think they finally recognized that in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever. And they finally have that moment where our debate was settled because you always saw Dick Grayson as the brother of Bruce. And I always said that, no, he's the first son of Bruce. He's the one where Bruce wants him and needs him to be better than him. And he's kind of that best part of the mission of Bruce. Like he's what Bruce needs to be. And he finally called Bruce Dad. So Nightwing's the better character in the end, and let's go to sleep.
Okay. There we have it. A nice breakdown between the two families. Been here. We haven't done a long episode like this in a while, but I think we had a lot to cover and a lot to think about. It's all in good fun. So I really hope everyone has a happy Batman Day. And it's full of joys, and Batman Claus brings you something special. And, I hope you just enjoy your day. And thanks for spending it with us. Mr. Bryan Peters of Gravely Amusing, thank you for being here. check out Gravely Amusing's Batman Day episode. Great conversation. Want to let people know a little bit about what we talked about?
So it is the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins this year. So we decided to have a talk of basically did Christopher Nolan ruin Batman? Did the seriousness side ruin Batman or make him better? So we had a really nice talk with that. That's going to drop on Batman Day as well. Don't forget to also check out last year's Batman episode, which was really, really good conversation of should Batman kill? And that is in season 2 of the podcast. So definitely check out those episodes and check out all the Krypton Report Batman episodes as well.
All right, James.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts? Yeah.
Oh,
we are out of time.
Well, darn it.
Just playing. Nah, James. Final thoughts.
He's not Sinatra, okay?
Golly.
He's not Sinatra. Where you cut him off.
It's funny. One of the things is how as a writer do you try to bring this character back of Connor, as well as age a character that's almost the same thing up to match him, and how do you plan on writing them and bringing them together and all that jazz? Once again, thank you, Bendis. I mean, thanks, Bendis, for bringing Connor back, but geez. I don't see how those two things go together.
And remember,
Look up in the sky!
thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.